facing a left-hander. They are 5-1, and they are undefeated, of course, 3-0. Now, when you compare the two ball clubs, there's a huge difference not only in the standings. Take the vital area of runners in scoring position. The Dodgers are hitting .293 in the clutch. Arizona is hitting .212. So Joe Torre has a huge advantage over Bob Melvin. And the other thing, the D-backs are hitting .198 against left-hand pitching. And 6 of Bob Melvin's regulars are hitting less than .200 against left-handers. The only guy who's well above is leading off, Felipe Lopez. He's above the .200 mark and hitting .327. So Lopez, switch hitter, batting right-handed, swings at the first pitch, lifts the ball to left field. Manny looks up into that light blue and makes the catch for the out. So 1 pitch and 1 away. Let's take a look at the Dodgers with the leather. Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier in the outfield. Blake Furcal, Hudson, and Loney on the infield. And the battery of Stultz and Martin. So 1 away. First pitch, and now Chris Young checks in. Young, right-hand hitter, batting just .182. 2 home runs, 7 RBIs. Stultz into the windup, fastball up around the eyes, ball 1. Temperature a lovely 68 degrees, and it looks like we'll have wonderful weather for the next few days. The 1-0 pitch is in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Brian Runge is the plate umpire. We often talk about, for instance, Scott Hairston was just here. The great baseball family of Hairstons pitch in the dirt. There's a great family of Runges umpiring Major League Baseball. We had Brian, and of course we had Paul, and we had the grandfather, Ed Runge. And Brian was born in California and lives here in Southern California. 2-1 pitch on the way, fastball foul back, and a 2-ball 2-strike count to Chris Young. So Felipe Lopez swings at the first pitch and flies to left. Young trying to stay around up there. 2-2 the count. One of the things that has plagued Arizona for the last couple of years, they have fellas who strike out a lot. 2-2 pitch on the way is fouled off. Young has struck out 27 times. Mark Reynolds, a third baseman, has struck out 28. And they come in here with too many strikeouts. And last year Reynolds set a record with 204. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count to Chris Young. Stultz ready, back he comes, runs it inside, though he goes all the way. 3-2. Chris Young broke a no-score tie. That was against the Giants with a 2-run double. The 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed. Fastball down and away, and he chased it, so we have 2 out in the first inning. And the batter will be Connor Jackson. So down goes Chris Young. 2 out in the first inning. Connor Jackson, as he stands in at the plate, coming off an 0 for 4 yesterday, and he's hitting only .203. As we told you, the Diamondbacks have the worst team batting average in the majors, .229. Dodger team batting average .284. And we've already pointed out the difference with runners in scoring position. Bob Melvin, his 5th year at the helm. 2 years ago, he was the manager of the year. We'll give you a trivia question about Bob. Here's the strike 1 pitch. Line drive over the head of a leaping Blake and down into the corner. Manny over to get it and play the carom. And Connor Jackson steams into second with a double. So with 2 out, Connor Jackson doubles, and that's not news for this Arizona ball club. Interesting that 40% of Arizona base hits are extra base hits. So their first hit tonight is a double 11. So with Connor Jackson at second, the batter is Mark Reynolds. Reynolds hitting .267, 6 home runs and 13 runs batted in. So the right-hand hitting third baseman, feast or famine. If he hits him, they can go a mile. And as we pointed out, he set a strikeout record last year. First pitch to Mark makes him jump away from the plate. 1 ball and no strikes. Reynolds 3 for 14 on the road trip with a double and a home run. He's hit safely in 8 of his last 9. Homered in back-to-back games against Colorado and St. Louis. The 1-0 pitch on the way, swung on, ground ball wide at third. Baker is on it, turns, throws, and gets him. Nice play by Casey. He strayed wide to his left to make the play. No runs, a hit, a man left. At the end of half an inning, D-backs nothing, Dodgers coming up. That means for Call, Hudson, and Ramirez, Ethier, Loney, and Martin, Kemp, Blake, and Stultz as the Dodgers go for 11 tonight. And Rafael Furcal will start it off against Doug Davis. Doug, a 34-year-old left-hander, comes September. Big fella, 6'4", 215, born in Sacramento and lives over in Phoenix. And his first pitch to Furcal is a little high, ball 1, 1-0. Rafael, going head-to-head with Davis, is hitting .286 and hitting .258 against the league. Davis ready, comes back 1-0. Rafael, a big bouncer to third. Reynolds jumps up to grab it and promptly throws him out. 1 away. Davis coming in 2-3 this year.
For the Dodgers, second baseman, number 13.
He has lost 2 in a row at Dodger Stadium, though he's trying to snap that. And with 1 away, Orlando Hudson coming up. Orlando Hudson has been just what the Dodgers needed, leaving Arizona, and he has been especially proficient here at home. Orlando batting .336, but hitting out of sight here at Dodger Stadium. So Davis turns on the rubber, left-hander ready and delivers, and Hudson takes a strike, and the count 0-1. So Orlando with 3 home runs, 15 runs batted in, and of distant memory it seems, had himself hit for the cycle. Remember? Strike 1 pitch on the way. Orlando hitting right-handed, takes off the plate. 1 ball and 1 strike. You're looking at Doug Davis tonight as Orlando Hudson is in and out of the box. In all of Major League history, there's a note about Davis. The 1-1 pitch on the way, down and away, ball 2. Only one starting pitcher has ever posted 3 consecutive 500 seasons, and it's Doug Davis. He went 12-12 in 04, 11-11 in 05, and 11-11 in 06. The 2-1 pitch fouled away. What did he do in 07? Well, that's when he broke it. He won 13 and lost 12. Others had done it twice. Oral Hershiser was one of them. but he's the only one to break even 3 consecutive years. Originally signed by the Rangers out of Community College of San Francisco. And Doug's 2-2 pitch on the way to Orlando is a breaking ball fouled off. Hudson, when he grew up in the Bay Area, big fan of the Oakland A's. And when he was much younger, a strikeout pitcher. Had 2 years in a row. 06 he struck out 159, but he had 1 year with the Brewers he struck out 208. Ground ball to the right side. Felipe Lopez is on it. So Hudson grounds out, hitting .475 here at Dodger Stadium. And now here comes Manny. So Ramirez shakes him up as he makes his way to the plate. And for what Manny Ramirez has done against Arizona, they'll be having his picture in the Phoenix post office very soon. Ramirez hitting .500 against Arizona pitching, hitting .349 against the league, 5 home runs, 15 runs batted in, and has a look at a pitch low, ball 1. 2 out, first inning, no score in the ball game. The Dodgers and the D-backs in a very brief 2-game series. Davis, both feet together on the rubber. Now the left-hander turns, hesitates, comes to the plate, snaps a fastball low. 2 balls and no strikes. Davis in his first starts against the Dodgers was 3-1, but in his last 5, 2-2. Well, wouldn't you know, break even, but an earned run average over 7. Put it all together, 5-3 in his lifetime. 2-0 pitch on the way to Ramirez, and that's taken on the inside corner for a strike, and the count 2-1. With Manny hitting .500, that's 27 for 54. He has been wearing out the D-backs. 2-1 to count. Davis ready again. Doug turns, hesitates. 2-1 pitch to Manny is swung on and fouled away. You would think the hesitation by Davis would help the hitter. He goes into his windup. He turns on the rubber, raises his right leg, and then just stops dead, almost like you want to take his picture, and then he delivers. Last year, he had thyroid surgery, an extremely serious situation, but thank the good Lord it was corrected, and here he is. 2-2 pitch on the way, and the left-hander deals fastball just off the plate, and a 3-2 count to Manny Ramirez. On deck is Andre Ethier, and Ethier is hitting .357 against Doug Davis. Davis holds the ball at the belt, now raises it to the chest, drops it to the belt, into the windup. Back he comes, fastball whacked into left field, and that one is gone. And what a favor. Doug Davis, a 3-2 fastball to Manny Ramirez. One of the oldest expressions in baseball. It's like trying to throw a lamb chop by a wolf. So Manny just got it and jumped all over it. A line drive home run. He's hit a lot of towering fly balls, but that thing was on a string, and the Dodgers right now take a 1-0 lead. So Eric Stoltz gets started in the right direction by Manny, his 6th home run of the year. 533, and now Ethier connects, and here we go again. That one is gone, and the Dodgers lead 2-0. So the Dodgers scored 3 in the first inning against Chad Gaudin yesterday, and they have 2 quick ones like lightning bolts here in the bottom of the first inning. The last time the Dodgers had back-to-back home runs the other day when Hudson and Ramirez homered against the Padres. So Doug Davis is spun around on his shield a bit. It's also a home run for which he is too familiar. He's allowed 7 home runs already this year. Now here's James Loney, hits a hard ground ball to short, juggled by Josh Wilson, who throws him out. So the Dodgers in the Magic Castle get the home run by Ramirez, the home run by Ethier, and at the end of an inning, the Dodgers 2 and the D-backs nothing. Manny Ramirez and Andre Ethier hit back-to-back home runs, each one a no doubt about it, and the Dodgers take a 2-0 lead into the second inning. Justin Upton, who is very hot in his own right, will start it off, followed by Eric Burns and then Chris Snyder. Upton has been on a tear. He has a 10-game hitting streak, hitting .268, takes ball 1, and for Upton, during that 10-game streak, he's hit .371. He started out poorly. In fact, first 5 games he played, he wasn't hitting a buck. He swings and misses, 1 ball and 1 strike. But since the first 5 games, he's been hitting .327, and his slugging is up over .600. Upton followed by Eric Burns. Fastball by Stults is inside. 2 balls and 1 strike to young Justin Upton. Upton with his brother BJ playing in Florida for Tampa Bay, and the 2-1 pitch on the way backs him off the plate. So 3-1 the count, though Eric Stults staked to a 2-0 lead, working on the 21-year-old Justin Upton. He'll be 22 the end of August. The 3-1 pitch coming up, and Stults delivers, check swing, they look, nose swing, and ball 4 to Upton. So Stults, after giving up a 2-out double to Jackson, got out of the inning on a good play by Casey Blake. Now he starts the second inning with a walk, and the batter is Eric Burns. Burns missing most of last year with a severely pulled hamstring. Watching the D-backs with Burns and Orlando Hudson was always a treat. So now it's up to Burns by himself. Stults throws to first, and Upton back on the bag. Upton, by the way, 1 for 1 in stolen bases. So Eric Burns, in his career, last time we checked, was hitting about .360 against the Dodgers. 2 years ago, he was really hot when he was healthy. He takes a pitch low, 1 ball and no strikes. He became the 11th hitter in history 2 years ago when he had 21 home runs, 50 stolen bases. That 20-50 club is rare. Henderson did it 4 times. Morgan and Cedeno 3 times. Eric Davis twice. And when Bernsey was stealing 50, he stole 30 in a row. Chases a ball down and away, and the count now on a good changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike. There was that great changeup down and away that got Chris Young in the first inning. Burns, who went to school at UCLA, 6'2", 210, 33 years old, and originally drafted by the A's. Upton at first, nobody out. 1-1 pitch is flailed at and missed. And we use the word flail because that was not much of a swing. And Burns is hitting only 164. So it's taking Eric a little time to sharpen up. In 07, when he was having his big year, he hit a solid 286. The year before that, he had 26 home runs. This year, he has 3. Stults delivers, moves him away. So for Eric, the pattern is that change down and away, and then a pitch inside and low, and he's even up the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Dodgers lead 2-0, top of the second inning. Back-to-back home runs by Ramirez and Ethier to stun Doug Davis and the D-backs. Stults ready and instead goes to first. 2-2 the count to Eric Burns. Interesting, the Dodgers, as you well know, have been so successful at home. Upton, with nobody out, takes a pretty good lead. And the comparison starting pitching is amazing as Burns hits one right through the legs of Stults, slows it down, and the Dodgers get a force play on a nice flip by Orlando Hudson to Rafael Furcal. If the ball gets through Stults cleanly, that's into center field. Instead, it hit him somewhere around the leg. That slowed it down and allowed Orlando to turn it into a force play. So the speedy Upton is taken off, and Burns now at first with 1 away. Good play by Orlando, and the catcher Chris Snyder coming up. Chris Snyder has started to heat up. And when you look at his batting average, you say, well, if he's starting to heat up, he must have been frozen. He's hitting 188. And the big catcher looks at a breaking ball that misses, ball 1. But in the last 5 games, he's had a little 5-game hitting streak. And over that stretch, hitting 375. The first 14 games Chris played, he was hitting 094. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way. Stults deals, fastball strike. 1-1 the count. So Snyder, the big boy out of Houston. Born in Houston, went to the University of Houston, and still lives there. And an excellent catcher. Snyder has had long games without an error. 120 some odd at one time. Takes a pitch low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Chris, 6'3", 230, looking down to his third base coach Chip Hale. Coaching at first for Arizona, Lorenzo Bundy, who spent 2 years in the Dodger organization as the manager in Las Vegas. 2-1. Stults ready. Here he comes, and it's foul back. 2-2 the count. So if you joined us late, Furcal grounded to third. Hudson grounded to second. Davis went 3-2 to Ramirez and tried to get a fastball by him, and Manny hit it on a line into the left field bleachers. Then Ethier walked up and hit a towering drive into the right field bleachers, and the Dodgers are on the board, leading 2-0. Remember, the Dodgers have beaten Arizona 5 straight and 9 of the last 11 meetings. 2-2 to Snyder with 1 out. There goes Burns. The pitch is a big ground ball into the hole. Base hit to left field. Under a full head of steam, Burnsy goes to third. So the Dodgers are fortunate that the comebacker by Burns hit the pitcher Stults on the leg, That enabled Orlando Hudson to catch up to it. Otherwise, you'd have a walk and 2 base hits. As it is, the D-backs have runners at first and third, and Josh Wilson coming up. Josh Wilson has a big pair of shoes to fill as he plays shortstop for the injured Stephen Drew. As he checks in, hitting .200. Meanwhile, Stephen Drew is here in uniform, just sitting and waiting. They also serve who only sit and wait. And the pitch to Josh swung on and foul back, and the count 0-1. 1 out, second inning. Dodgers lead 2-0. Josh Wilson was called up from Reno the end of April. Made his debut as a pinch hitter against the Giants. Hit .260 in AAA before they called him up, and he had a very good spring. He hit .328 to capture the imagination. Hits a hopper into left field, base hit. Burns will score. Stopping at second is Snyder, and the Dodgers 2, D-backs 1. One too many changeup because Stults delivered. Wilson hit it as if he hit it with the morning papers. He was out in front of it, but he hit it off the end of the bat, and he nudges the change right by the diving Blake. So there you have it. First and second, 1 out, and the only out was that ball that went through Stults' legs. And the D-backs now trail 2-1, and the batter is Doug Davis. Loney and Blake hollering something to Stults for the moment. Davis is 2 for 8 with a run batted in, but he has struck out 4 of his 8 trips. So the Dodgers looking bunt with 1 out. And as far as Davis is concerned, he shows bunt. And the first pitch, he gets it down. Martin's going to fire the third, and they get Snyder to throw the first. They get Davis. So you ask your pitcher to bunt to get out of the double play, and Davis bunts into the double play with Martin on it to Blake, and Blake to Loney, and that's that. 1 run, and at the end of an inning and a half, 2-1 Dodgers. D-backs come back with 1, so the Dodgers lead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Doug Davis, who has rocked a bit on the back-to-back home runs by Ramirez and Ethier, now will be facing Martin, Kemp, and Blake. Russell Martin, along with several other regulars, rested yesterday. In the game before he rested against the Padres, he went 3 for 4. So Martin hitting .224 with 12 runs batted in. Doug Davis ready to go back to work. And the left-hander who made 16 pitches in the first inning starts Martin and misses. Ball one, 1-0. Dodgers 5-1 against left-hand starters, 3-0 at home. The 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's a fastball low. 2 balls and no strikes, the count. Davis checking, now ready, and the 2-0 pitch on the way, and Martin takes low and inside, ball 3. Last year, Davis partnered with the D-backs, creating the 49 Fund to assist families with cancer over in Phoenix. The 3-0 pitch on the way, and that's a strike, 3-1. Last year, they raised quite a bit of money. Of course, Davis knows all about it. Davis underwent a nuclear CT scan because he had thyroid cancer, and the pitch is fouled back to the screen. So Davis, besides being a good pitcher and a pitcher who has enjoyed a long and successful career in the big leagues, is also somewhat inspirational. Doug ready, and the 3-2 pitch to Russell Martin, and the left-hander works it away, ball 4. So Davis walks the leadoff man. That's always dangerous. He has walked 11, and he has struck out 27. So as he ties his shoelace, Matt Kemp makes his way up to the plate. Matt Kemp, if you may remember, started off red hot, but in his last 11 games, he's hit 154. The first 14 games, he hit 392. So his current average is now at 289. Matt with 3 home runs, 16 runs batted in. Davis shortens his stride to the plate and misses low, ball 1. Matt Kemp is hitting .500 against Doug Davis, 8 for 16. One ball and no strikes. Martin short lead at first. Davis out of his stretch. Back he comes, and a fastball is in there for a strike. 1-1. Davis, of course, with a runner on, cannot raise that right leg as high and hesitate. He has to cut that stride complete. He just barely lifts the foot and comes to the plate. And Matt Kemp swings, fouls it off to the right and out of play, and the count 1-2. D-backs come in 3 games under .500. They're 11-14, and the Dodgers begin the night 18-8. So Martin at first, nobody out. 2-1 Dodgers second inning. Martin has a stolen base, but he's also been caught twice. Davis a long look into Snyder. Now he's ready. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Kemp takes high and away. Ball 2. 2-2. Joe Torre, talking before the ball game, said there's nothing new on Hiroki Kuroda. He's just doing exercises. He also said there is no plan for Hung-Chi Kuo to throw, none whatsoever. Meanwhile, they're trying to build J-Mac, as they call him, James McDonald's confidence back up. Davis swings, ground ball to short. The quick, in fact, Wilson can't make any feed. He's all thumbs on a double play ball, and the Dodgers get a big break. Instead of 2 out and the bases empty, runners at first and second, and Stephen Drew, understanding about the problems of a youngster just called up from AAA. Perfect double play ball, although when Matt Kemp is running, I guess you can't say a perfect double play ball. Instead, we'll just settle for the error. And runners at first and second, and nobody out. So the batter is Casey Blake. Casey Blake hitting .400 against Davis. That just translates to 2 for 5. 2 on, nobody out. 2-1 Dodgers second inning. Davis turns on the rubber and just bluffs Martin back. Torrey was talking about the Dodger bullpen, and Joe said he doesn't think the bullpen has been overused, but he will say that Ramon Troncoso will not pitch tonight. Davis said, looks at the runners. Casey has a look at a pitch for a strike, and they count 0-1. James Loney, who is doing well, hitting in the 290s, but without a home run. And Joe Torre addressed that. He said it doesn't concern him. They'll come. And as Torre said about Loney, he's one of the best 2-strike hitters we have on the team, and he figures to get stronger. 0-1 the count. Blake waiting. Davis set. Comes with a pitch just outside. Fake by Snyder, and that sends Kemp back head first. 2 pretty good runners out there in Martin and Kemp, especially Kemp, who has stolen 5 out of 6. Joe Torre, who always comes to the ballpark early, said these fellas are really growing up. He said, I came in today and Russell was buried in the video room looking at the opposing team's hitters. He said, I like seeing that. Blake fouls another pitch back, and the count 1-2. So the Dodgers and the D-backs. Dodgers won 2 out of 3 over in Arizona. This is a brief 2-game series, though a little odd. First a 4-game series with the Padres, and now a 2-game series with the D-backs. Tomorrow night, Max Scherzer and Jeff Weaver. Davis out of a stretch. Dodgers lead 2-1. Second inning. Davis's pitch is swung on, fouled away, and it's still a 1-2 count. Davis deep in thought. Martin away from second. Kemp at first. On deck, Eric Stoltz. Now Davis ready. He'll look back at Martin. And the 1-2 pitch on the way to Casey Blake. Davis ready. Here he comes. And it's low as he tries to pull the string and almost threw it in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Martin walked. Kemp hit a ground ball to Wilson, who kicked it for an error. Dodgers get a big break here. Larry Bower shepherding the runners. And the 2-2 pitch coming up. Davis sets up around the letters and works the next pitch down and away. And 3-2 the count. So when you look at Casey Blake, he has struck out 22 times and walked 8. So he's almost 3-1 the wrong way. But remember, you have the pitcher on deck. So we'll watch the runners. 3-2 the count. Dodgers 2, D-backs 1, bottom of the second. Davis set, checking, runners go, and the pitch, a line drive, backhanded by Wilson. They go to second, they go to first, a triple play. So the kid who made the error starts a triple play. How do you do? Wow. From short to second to first, Josh Wilson will get 5s. It's 2-1 Dodgers. Alongside Stephen Drew. And is that not the fortunes of baseball? He kicks a double play ball and starts a triple play, making a fine backhand catch of the line drive and then converting it all the way to first. Doug Davis was counting the throws, and on the throw to first, Doug said boom and walked off the field. So Jack Wilson out of Pittsburgh, PA, starts a triple play. So for Casey Blake, not exactly an honor. He hit the ball right on the button. So we're in the third, 2-1 Dodgers, and the pitch low and inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, you come to Dodger Stadium these days, you never know what you're going to see. Stoltz comes back at the feet and hits his man. So that means Felipe Lopez is awarded first base. So it's quite a night already. Ramirez and Ethier hit back-to-back home runs in the first inning. Casey Blake hits into a triple play. And now the first pitch to Lopez nails him, and that'll bring up Chris Young. So Lopez at first. Young struck out in the first inning, hitting only 180. Lopez, as he will take his lead, 1 for 2 in stolen bases. Stoltz delivers, fastball strike, and the count 0-1. Can you imagine? You kick a double play ball. Your chin is on your chest, your heart is in your socks. And the next thing you know, you make a backhand catch of a sinking line drive and start a triple play. Now the strike 1 pitch, instead a throw to first. Seen a couple of triple plays and saw one that could have been unassisted. It was a Giant Dodger game in the Polo Grounds, and the shortstop for the Giants, Alvin Dark, same story, runners going, and he stepped on second, could have tagged the runner coming from first, but lobbed the throw to first. Josh Wilson from Pittsburgh. His father, Mike, is the head baseball coach at Duquesne University. He was signed by the Florida Marlins 10 years ago in the 3rd round. As we said, he's 28, 6'1", 180. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Stoltz, another look over, just staring now to the plate. Swung on and missed. A big, long swing by Chris Young. Young, very talented. We've told you about the connection with James Loney, both from Houston, played in a famous high school playoff game down there. Loney hit a ball and Young collided with a teammate and broke his arm. Now the pitch, and that's low and inside. During that game, when Loney was pitching, Chris Young got a base hit. So they know each other very well. Lopez at first, nobody out. 2-1 Dodgers, top of the 3rd. Stoltz, a high set. Now comes to the plate. Fastball popped up foul. Wouldn't you know, it's James Loney. And Loney will put it away. How do you do? So Young continues to struggle. 1 out. Lopez at first. And the batter is Connor Jackson, who doubled the left in the first inning. Dodgers 2 runs, 2 hits. Home runs by Ramirez and Ethier. And the D-backs 1 run on a walk and a couple of singles. So Connor Jackson, big right-hand batter. Throw to first. Lopez back on the bag. In 1-run games, the D-backs have played 5, decided by 1, and they're 3-2. The Dodgers have played 9. They're 6-3, but 4-0 at home. Stoltz again ready. Eric to the plate, way inside, undressing Connor Jackson a bit. 1 ball and no strikes. So Eric working inside really straightened him up. Connor backs out and looks at Chip Hale for the moment. D-backs had a big year in 07. Then in 08 they were in first place for 153 straight days, and the Dodgers nosed them at the wire. The next pitch high, 2 balls and no strikes. Dodgers having won 10 of 18. Of course, one thing about the Dodgers too, they are 17-6 within the division. The D-backs are 11-14 overall, and they have struggled within the division. And the pitch fouled away. For the D-backs, they are 6-9 inside the National League West. We were talking a minute ago or so about Bob Melvin, a likable skipper. Bob from the Bay Area. You know, he hit the last home run against Oral Hershiser in 1988. He hit it here, and then Oral went 131 innings without allowing a home run. Missed at the plate, but the throw was late at first. Connor Jackson is up there, 2 balls and 2 strikes, and Lopez is still at first. The tag very late. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Russ Martin looking over to the Dodger dugout a moment before going back to shuffling his cards behind the plate. Connor Jackson hitting .213 with a home run and 13 runs batted in. 2-2 pitch on the way is low and inside, ball 3. Well, we've had 3-2 counts tonight have been explosive. Manny had a 3-2 count, hit a home run. Blake had a 3-2 count and hit into a triple play. And now here's Connor Jackson working on a 3-2 count. Out of a stretch goes Stultz. Looks over at Lopez, and another throw, and a bad throw. Nice backhanded effort by James Loney to save an error. Eric 2-1 and 1-0 against Arizona this year. Eric looks down the barrel, getting the sign. Now very deliberate. A look over at Lopez. He goes, and the pitch is sliced foul off to the right, back into the stands. The Connor Jackson up there hacking away. He had a walk-off home run against the Giants. In fact, check me, it wasn't a home run. It was a walk-off, but it turned out to be a single. You take it one way or another, right? Connor waiting, 3-2 the count. Lopez going on the last one, goes again, ground ball to Blake. The only play is to first in time, but the tying run is now at second base with 2 out, and the feast or famine hitter Mark Reynolds coming up.
Now batting third baseman Mark Reynolds.
Mark Reynolds robbed of a hit a ground ball to the hole at short, and Casey Blake went way wide to his left, gloved the ball, made a full turn, and fired to first. So Lopez at second, 2 out, 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers in a ball game that's already won for the books. Stultz, left foot on the rubber, looks down to get a sign. Now Eric will look back at second, comes to the plate, a shot right back to him. Stultz gloves it, underhands to Loney, and that's the inning. No runs, no hits, a man left, and at the end of 2.5 innings, Dodgers 2, D-backs 1. Dodgers, Eric Stultz, followed by Rafael Furcal, and then Orlando Hudson. Stultz, left-hand batter. Davis works a strike, and the count 0-1. We have a moment, and we would certainly like to join the Dodgers and everybody else connected with the telecast as Davis comes back 0-1 to Stultz, and he looks at a slow freight for a strike. 0-2. I'd like to send along our warmest wishes, congratulations to FSN and KCAL producer Brad Zager, celebrating a birthday today. Strike 2 pitch, down and away, 1-2. Brad's been piloting the Dodger telecast since 2005, and we are very confident when the telecaster in his hand. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Stultz swings, hits a drive to center. Young was shallow, but he goes back and makes the catch for the out. One away. So you know you can join the Dodgers on the road in Chicago. Travel to the Windy City May 28th, 9th, and 30th. Watch the Dodgers and Cubs at Wrigley Field. Packages include hotel accommodations and a meet and greet on the field with a current Dodger. To purchase, visit Dodgers.com/road trips or call 323-224-2646. One away, and here is Rafael Furcal, grounded to third in the first inning. Rafael 0 for 1. They pull up the corners in case he tries to bunt. Hitting right-handed, he shows bunt and takes a strike. 0-1. For Rafael, hitting only .255, but he has been busy. He's reached base safely in each of the 23 games in which he has played. Strike 1 pitch on the way. Rafael, a big swing and a miss. Boy, the backlash of the swing almost got Snyder. 0-2 the count. Furcal, 1 of 6 reaching base in each game played. Now the strike 2 pitch on the way. Davis delivers, down and away. Carlos Beltran 23, Adrian Gonzalez 25, Brandon Inge 24, Nick Makakis 25, Albert Pujols 24, and he's been on in 22. They get 23 and fouls it away. So it's still 1-2 to Rafael Furcal. Orlando Hudson, who came into this game hitting .475 at home and going up against his old mates, waiting on deck. Dodgers lead 2-1, third inning in a game that has already featured a triple play. The 1-2 pitch, Furcal swings, fouls it back. If you weren't with us, Dodgers had Martin at first. Kemp hit a double play ball to short, and Josh Wilson kicked it. That put runners at first and second. Blake hit a bullet on a 3-2 pitch with the runners going. Wilson, a backhand stab as the line drive was sinking, threw back to second for 2. They threw to first for 3, and that was that. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Furcal. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing. 2-2 to Rafael. He has 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. Talking about his home runs, he has 12 leadoff home runs, but of course Davey Lopes had 28. 2-2 to Rafael. Davis ready. Doug kicks. Now a curveball stroked into left field. Base hit. So Furcal got a nice slow curveball. Singles. That curveball was at 70 miles an hour, so it was like an apple on a tree. He was just able to be patient. Look at there. So Rafael has now reached in 24. And the batter, Orlando Hudson. Furcal at first with 1 out. Hudson batting right-handed. And Rafael over there has stolen 3 out of 4. So Davis has a lot on his mind right now. Davis sad looks and decides to go over there. By the way, Doug Davis has a wonderful move, and over the last 5 years, Doug Davis has picked off 24 runners. Same stretch, Mark Burley has picked off 37. Davis set another throw, and again for call back. So this is one of the more interesting battles within the war. You have a left-hand pitcher with a dandy move to first, and you have an experienced, successful base runner in Rafael Furcal. Davis comes right to the plate and throws it between the legs of Chris Snyder to the backstop. And I'll tell you one thing, Davis barely stopped. I mean, you want to talk about quick pitching. He barely stopped, which would have been almost a balk, and then he bounced it under the mitt and through the legs, and on the wild pitch, Furcal goes to second. And certainly the reason for the wild pitch was Rafael Furcal. Doug trying to cheat as far as not coming to a complete stop, and threw it away. All right, 1 ball and no strikes to Hudson, with Manny waiting on deck. 2-1 Dodgers, 3rd inning. Davis deals, and he's high up around the eyes. Though falling behind, 2 balls and no strikes. Last 5 games, Davis has been 2-0 with an earned run average of 1.6. I mean, he's been dynamite. Veteran left-hander. A look back at Furcal. Still squinting back there. The 2-0 pitch way outside. So Rafael's presence really has upset Davis. And now he's so worried about Rafael at second that he's behind 3-0 to Hudson. Furcal away from second. Trying to draw Lopez a little more to the bag. Wilson has to stay on the rim. And Ramirez waits, and there's ball 4. So here comes Manny. In the first inning, when Ramirez came up and it led to a home run, take a look at the way they pitched him. Fastball and a breaking ball, and he kept the ball down and in, and eventually 1 pitch away, and 3-2 got it knee high out over the plate, and kaboom. Manny hits his 6th home run, 16 runs batted in, and the Dodgers were off and running. However, the D-backs came back with 1. So here's Manny hitting over 500 against Arizona. In fact, going back to last year, he was hitting 590, and he homered first time up. First pitch to Manny, swung on and fouled back, 0-1. Ramirez had yesterday off, and when he got to the clubhouse and in the dugout tonight before the game, he was really full of beans, full of frijoles. 533 home runs, 1 behind the great Double X, as they called him, Jimmy Fox. Only 3 behind Mantle. 0-1 to count to Manny Ramirez. Davis set, ready, and delivers. Manny is hit by the pitch, I believe. He hadn't been awarded first. He backs off, though apparently he just got the bat, and the crowd booed, but he's all right. 0-2 the count. Just did get his hands out of the way in case of the ball hitting the bat just above his right hand. So 0-2 the count. Manny back up to the plate. Dodgers have Furcal at second, Hudson at first. 1 out, 3rd inning, 2-1 Dodgers. Davis ready. Here he comes. Very high. Ball 1. 1-2 the count. Davis gave up the single to Furcal, the walk to Hudson, and now he's 1-2 to Manny Ramirez with Andre Ethier on deck. The 1-2 pitch coming up. Davis very deliberate and then backs off the rubber, and Manny backs out of the box. You know, the Dodgers have played 26 games. This is number 27. The Dodgers have had back-to-back home runs 3 times this year, and Manny's been involved in all 3. Last year they had back-to-back once. The pitch to Manny is low. That's right, once. Last year, the Dodgers had a back-to-back home run from Blake DeWitt and Angel Baroa. And here we are in the 27th game. They've had back-to-back 3 times. Manny involved in all 3. And tonight he was followed by Andre Ethier. 2-2 the count. 2 on, 1 out. 2-1 Dodgers. Davis ready and delivers, and it is taken high. Ball 3. Well, Manny hit his home run on a 3-2 pitch in the first inning. And for Doug, he has nowhere to go. So for Bob Melvin, sweating things out, former big league catcher. Andre Ethier, who homered in the first inning, waiting on deck. So for Davis, he's surrounded by assassins right now. We'll see what the runners do with Manny. Runners at the ready. The runners do not go, and it is swung on and fouled away off to the right lower deck. 3-2. With Ethier on deck for Colin Hudson, we're not going. And we'll see if they stay that way. Remember, coming into the game, the Dodgers were hitting .293 this year with runners in scoring position. With 2 on in the second inning, however, Blake hit into that line drive triple play. All right, let's watch the runners again. 3-2. Davis is. Runners do not go, and as a ground ball to second, on the bag for 1. Wilson back to first, and they get the double play. So a 4-6-3 double play. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. And at the end of 3, 2-1 Dodgers. It'll make you fall in love with your lunch. 99 cents every day. And by Southwest Airlines, low fares with no hidden fees. Book now at southwest.com, where what you see is what you pay. 4th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. Because of the triple play, we have a lot of notes on it in case you care. The D-backs had one other triple play. That was in the year 2000. Mark McGuire, with the runners going, hit a fly ball to center for an out. The runner at third tagged up, tried to score. They got him at the plate. And the runner at first tried to go to second on the throw to the plate, and they nailed him. So the scoring on that triple play was 8-6. That is highly unusual. Upton up there with the count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Upton walked in the second inning with a 10-game hitting streak, red hot, hitting .268 with .371 during the streak. Fouls it back. The last double play against the Dodgers was in Houston. That was Mike Sims, Ken Caminiti, Andujar Cedeno completing the triple play. 1-2 pitch on the way is low. And the last triple play prior to tonight, but the triple play where the Dodgers turned it in, was with Darren Dreifert pitching. And Colorado's Jose Vizcaíno, Eric Young, and Bobby Bonilla. 3-2 the count to Upton, Burns, and Snyder, due up here in the fourth inning. Stoltz has allowed 1 run, 3 hits, and now a walk. So a dangerous way to start, because in 4 innings he's allowed the leadoff man to get on in 3 of them. Upton walked in the second, Lopez hit by a pitch in the third, and Upton walks in the fourth. Our Aflac question: who has the highest single season average at home in Dodger Stadium history? Remember now, going into this game, Orlando Hudson was hitting .475 at home. So the tying runs aboard in the fleet-footed Justin Upton. Stoltz immediately keeping an eye on him. Upton 1 for 1. Eric Burns hit into a force play. It was actually a shot up the middle, and it was slowed down by Stoltz's leg, and Hudson caught up to it and turned it into a force. Down and away. On that pitch to the plate, Upton was running for his life back to first, and Lorenzo Bundy came over to talk to him, trying to help him pick off Stoltz's move. 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers 2, D-backs 1, top of the 4th. And a fly ball to right center and deep. Matt Kemp away back to the track. Makes a great catch. Upton has to beat the throw back, and does. Matt Kemp, who can go to the gaps in left center and right center as well as anybody in the game. And he caught that one just before going into the pads in right center field. So Burns losing an extra base hit, and Matt looked at the wall, then reached up and made the play, and then caromed into it. Wonderful play. Boy, does he do that well. So Stoltz getting away with allowing the leadoff man to get aboard. Fine defensive play by Matt Kemp. And here is Chris Snyder, who singled to left in the second inning. On deck, Josh Wilson. Down at his ankles. Ball 1. Snyder, on paper, certainly the best fielding catcher in the league. He's led the National League in fielding percentage each of the last 2 years. Chris hitting .204. Upton at first. 1 out. 2-1 Dodgers. In the dirt, smothered nicely by Martin, that big curveball. 2-0 the count. Stoltz has been pretty effective with his changeup to complement the fastball and the curve. Stoltz very slow, deliberate. Now the 2-0 pitch. And a strike. 2-1. Eric Stoltz joins a long list of major league pitchers who underwent successful Tommy John surgery. Eric went under the knife, as they say, back in 2002. From Indiana. Went to Bethel College, which is just outside of South Bend, Indiana. 2-1. Of course, South Bend synonymous with Notre Dame. 2-1 the count. Eric originally signed by the Dodgers 7 years ago. There it goes up in the throw to Loney, down to Hudson, and the tag. So Justin Upton is picked off, and it goes 1-3-4, and now 2 down, bases empty in the 4th inning. So Loney making an accurate throw. That is such a tough throw, you would take it for granted. But when you're at first base and you're trying to throw with a runner heading towards second, you don't really have a good lane to throw. But Loney made a good play. Right, 2-2. Here's Loney's perspective, and he has to get it, and did. There are first basemen who don't like that play at all. They'd almost give it up and go to the bag. Meanwhile, inspired, Stoltz strikes out Snyder. So Upton is hung out to dry, and at the end of 3.5 innings, 2-1 Dodgers. Nissan. Get to the Nissan National Tent event for great deals on reliable vehicles. Look closer. Nissan delivers. And by Kaiser Permanente. We want you to live well, be well, and thrive. As we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, 2-1 Dodgers. It'll be James Loney coming out on deck. Andre Ethier checks in. Ethier, Loney, and Martin in that order. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 3 hits for the D-backs. Andre homered on the heels of Ramirez homer in the 1st inning. Ball 1. Again, it's interesting to repeat. Ramirez and Ethier hit back-to-back home runs. That has occurred 3 times in 27 games this year for the Dodgers. And last year, it happened once with Blake DeWitt and Angel Baroa. 1 ball, 1 strike. And that's a strike. 1-2 the count. Andre hitting .316, half a dozen home runs, 25 runs batted in. So he and Manny are tied with home runs, but he's the leader in RBIs with 25. Slap to left field. Going back for it is Burns and makes the catch. So one away. Remember the trivia question? We're talking about someone so successful at home in Dodger Stadium history. And we mentioned that the old dog was hitting .475 at home this year so far. Yes, Mike Piazza back in 1997 over the 81 games hit .355. Did he ever? Hudson trying to do that if he can. Talking to Juan Pierre. James a strike and the count 0-1. Loney a solid .290, 17 RBIs. James in his 27th game, which means he has played in all of them. In at the hands, 1-1. Doug Davis with a record of 2-3 with a little losing streak. He has lost 2 in a row here at Dodger Stadium, but he's been pitching very well of late. 1-1. Foul ball. Yesterday the Dodgers went after Chad Gaudin in the first inning. They had a couple of doubles, 2 singles, and scored 3 on 8 pitches. But then Gaudin settled down until the game got away in the 6th inning. We'll see about tonight and Doug Davis settling down. 1-2. And down goes Loney. Davis, a crafty left-hander in the sense that he does not overpower hitters. He is 15 with check. That is 28 strikeouts and 10 walks. Moves the ball around very, very well. Russell Martin walked in the 2nd inning. 1 ball and no strikes. Martin, as the base runner at second base, was the beginning of the triple play. One ball, no strikes. That's in there, 1-1. The catch of the line drive by Casey Blake was 1. The throw to second to get Martin was 2. And the throw to first to double up Matt Kemp. Triple play. 1-1 to Russ. And he bounced the fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers on the back-to-back home runs in the first inning. And the D-backs got a run in the second. Upton walked, Burns hit into a force play, and then Snyder and Wilson single back-to-back. That's a strike. 2-2 to Martin, batting .224. There's the breaking ball, but it stayed up with that big slow curve, and that was only 69 miles an hour. Three and two. And down he goes. So the Dodgers go quietly in the 4th, and at the end of 4, 2-1 Dodgers. It's only part of the story. First of all, in the second inning, with Martin having walked, it brought up Matt Kemp, and he had a ground ball that had double play all over it. Instead, Wilson kicked it, and then the line drive by Blake was converted into a triple play. Boom, said Doug Davis as he walked off the field. Well, the same Josh Wilson will check in now, of triple play fame. Josh, as we mentioned, out of Pittsburgh, lives in Mount Lebanon, just outside the city. Went to Mount Lebanon High, drafted by the Marlins. Started in rookie league in '99. Only had a cup of coffee with the Marlins in 2005. Came up for a little while with the Devil Rays, back down again. And here he is with the D-backs, replacing the injured Stephen Drew. 6'1", about 180. It's a tough grind out there, so one of the things they're trying to do is see if Wilson can fatten up a little bit. 2-2 the count. 2-2 the count. Now back 2 years ago, playing for the Devil Rays, and his debut playing for the Devil Rays, he was forced to be a relief pitcher. He was forced to be a relief pitcher when he had last pitched, and Joe Madden did well when he had last pitched in high school. Gosh, did well. He went down to the pen, warmed up, started feeling good, got one out, and got 3 outs in the inning. High slicing fly ball, Kemp, ground right, slicing fly ball, Kemp, ground right. So Josh Wilson along out to right center. He and Ethier sharing grand right center. That one was a lot easier than the one he ran down. That was hit by Eric Byrne. One he ran down. That was hit by Eric Byrne. Back in the dugout. Wilson back in the dugout. When he pitched that inning in his major league debut, and he allowed a single, a walk, and no run. He allowed a single, a walk, and no run. Now here's Davis. Tried to bunt Davis and did, and bunted into a double play. Did, and bunted into the play. He's hitting 222. He's hitting just 2 for 8 coming in. He had an RBI. He had 2 for 8 for his 8 at bat. RBI, and he had struck out for his 8 at bat. So already we've had 2 double plays and a triple. We've had 2 double plays and a triple in the 5th inning. In the 5th inning. Eric Stokes locked in, leading 2-1. Locked in, leading 2-1. And that'll take care of Davis. Strikeout number 3 for Eric. Strikeout number 3 for no decision. Dodgers won it. Then he won his first 2 starts. He beat Arizona going 5 1/3, and he beat the Giants going 5. 1 ball and no strikes. Lopez hits it foul down the line. Felipe hitting .323 with 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. So Lopez had to follow Orlando Hudson, and he's done well. And a fly ball to right field. It's coming to Ethier, a little room service job, and that'll be that. So the D-backs go 1-2-3, and Stokes walks off, leading 2-1. 1-2-3, and Stokes walks off, leading 2-1.
crisp lettuce and our secret sauce, wrapped in a warm flour tortilla for just 99 cents. When it comes to serious value, the bird is the word. Del Taco.
Some sucker's thumb may look wrinkled and wet and withered and white as the snow, but the taste of a thumb is the sweetest taste yet, as only we thumb suckers know. How to be a child. Matt Kemp, followed by Casey Blake, and then Eric Stultz. Bottom of the fifth inning, 2-1 Dodgers. Kemp reached on the error that might have been a double play ball, certainly a force play, and all it did was set the stage for a triple play. In fact, when you realize it, we are starting off to have quite an enchanted year. I mean, it's only the 27th game. We've had Orlando Hudson hit for the cycle, and we've had a triple play tonight, and we have really just started. 2-1 Dodgers. Kemp 0 for 1. Matt struggling. They all do. And he's hitting .286. Two and one to Matt Kemp. Matt the other night in the one wild game with San Diego where the Dodgers won 8-5, and Matt personally saved the Dodgers 4 runs in that game, making that great catch with the bases loaded in deep left center and then a diving sprawling catch in shallow center. 2-1. 2-2. Where did the thumb suckers refrain come from? Dr. Seuss, in case you wondered. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 3 hits and an error for the D-backs. Bottom of the 5th. And he muscles that one into shallow left center. Matt big and strong. It didn't have that sharp crack of a line drive, but he just muscled it. So Kemp goes 1 for 2 with a single to left, and the batter will be Casey Blake. Blake hit a bullet sinking line drive that was backhanded by Josh Wilson and turned into the triple play. And a strike. 0-1. Matt Kemp over there has stolen 5 out of 6. But again, remember, we told you that Doug Davis has a remarkable move to first, and he's picked off 24 runners over the last couple of years. Kemp trying to read him. Left-handers, the better move that they have, the closer they are to shaving the balk rule. Oh, 0-1. There are some left-handers who don't particularly like to throw to first. Way back when the Philadelphia Phillies had two outstanding pitchers, one right and one left. The right-hander was Robin Roberts, who's in the Hall of Fame, and the left-hander was Curt Simmons, who was a very good pitcher. But Curt Simmons not only did not have a move to first, he hated to throw to first. Ground ball hard into left field. So Casey gets the hit, and there are runners at first and second, and nobody out for Eric Stokes. Dodgers 2 runs and 5 hits. Stokes flied to center, and of course the D-backs will look bunt. Stokes has 1 sacrifice, 6 at bats. He has struck out 4 times. Of course, the D-backs tried to have Davis sacrifice, and he bunted into a double play. So let's see. Two on, nobody out. 2-1 Dodgers. Corners are up. Wilson trying desperately to take a step away from Matt Kemp. Now Davis talking to his third baseman, Mark Reynolds. Kemp at second, Blake at first, nobody out. Stokes showing bunt, flicks at it and misses. Throw down to second, and Kemp steals third. How do you do? Bob Melvin was a catcher in his day, and Snyder was sucked in on that play. So first and third, nobody out. If you take a look at Matt Kemp, Wilson is directly behind him, goes to the bag, and on the pitch, as the throw to second, there was nothing for Wilson to do but take a bite out of it. You can't just throw back a Matt Kemp, and he's into third. So first and third, nobody out. Now let's see if they want to have Stokes still try to bunt. Blake at first, Kemp at third, nobody out. Reynolds in on the grass looking bunt. Stokes showing bunt. And they go to first. Honeycutt, Torrey, and Schaefer. The last club to win 11 straight at home was Kansas City, and Bob Schaefer was the bench coach on that club. And there is Schaefer on Joe's left side, taking in this one, hoping for the second time in his career. He's between Torrey and Mattingly. Might do it again. 1 ball and 1 strike. Blake and Kemp at the corners, and that's low, boxed a little bit by Snyder. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now Casey Blake over at first does not have a stolen base. On deck, Rafael Furcal. See if Stokes tries to bunt. 2-1. Doesn't look it. 2-2. Dodgers having won 4 in a row, 9 out of 11 against Arizona, and 5 straight against Arizona. Matt Kemp is at third. Casey Blake at first. Nobody out. And a fly ball to left field and deep. Back goes Burns. Kemp will score easily. Blake will hold at first. Dodgers lead 3-1, and Eric Stults gets himself a scoring fly ball and an RBI. Chad Billingsley, Randy Wolf, Mark Loretta, they know all about how good it is. Yesterday, Chad Billingsley had a base hit to drive in a run. So this time a scoring fly ball by Stults. And for the Dodgers, everyone contributes. So 3-1 Dodgers. Here's for call. Foul ball. 0-1 the count. Rafael grounded to third, single to left. Advanced to second on a wild pitch, but stayed there when Ramirez hit into a double play. Yeah, that's right. That happened too. 0-1. 1 ball and 1 strike. When the D-backs come up in the 6th inning, they'll have Chris Young, Connor Jackson, and Mark Reynolds. The numbers 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the lineup. In the dirt, and Blake goes after the pitch, so there's no way to get him. Now, he was not going. Therefore, that should not be a stolen base. It should be he advanced on the wild pitch. We'll see. Let's see. That's in the dirt and jumps up to hit him, and it'll be a wild pitch. Casey makes it without a play. 2-1 to count to Rafael for call, who has a half a dozen runs batted in. Ball 3. Going into this inning, Davis has labored a bit. He had 72 pitches. 3-1. Three and 2. Look at Rafael's batting. He's hitting .269 left, .211 right. However, 1 for 2 tonight, and he's been on base one way or another 25 games this year. Blake waiting for a ride home. 3-2 the count with 1 out. Dodgers lead 3-1. And way outside and high. That would be the second walk given up by Davis. He's also had a couple of wild pitches. So timeout, they'll have a little meeting on the mound. Not much you can say to a fellow like Davis, who's been around so long. And Orlando Hudson will be coming up. Now, Hudson has been on a tear, hitting .475 at Dodger Stadium. Tonight, however, he grounded out and drew a walk. But boy, what an acquisition Orlando Hudson has been. And as we mentioned, the D-backs were fortunate to come up with Felipe Lopez. But Hudson hitting .336 and has been constantly on base. He has 36 base hits. Big John Roush gets up in the Arizona bullpen. So this is a very important inning for Doug Davis. He's hanging on. On deck, Manny Ramirez. 2 on, 1 out, 1 in. And ball 1. Doug Davis has now made 90 pitches, and you get the feeling he might be coming to the end here. He's really been laboring. 1-0 the count. And the breaking ball missed for ball 2. He is coming off 3 consecutive games where he's made over 100 pitches. 102, followed by 114, followed by 116. 2-0 the count. And ball 3. So he is struggling. Three and 0 to Orlando Hudson. And that's low and inside. Here comes Manny with the bases loaded. Bob Melvin talking to Kirk Gibson. Tells Snyder to go out to the mound and talk to Davis. Now Manny homered in the first inning, but he hit into a double play in the third. And Bob Melvin is a very intelligent catcher. Bob, in fact, went to the University of California. Wanted so badly to stay in college that even though Baltimore drafted him, Melvin said, I want to go to Cal, and he played in the 1980 College World Series. But he's smart enough to know his left-hander is really struggling now, and he has John Roush in the pen. He's going to get him, and we'll be back. In the first inning, 2 out bases loaded in the 3-2 pitch. 2 out bases loaded. 3-2 pitch. To right, and the Dodgers are on the board, 2-0. Now they lead 3-1 and trying to break the game wide open. And big John Roush is brought in with the bases loaded, 1 out, and Manny with the bases loaded, 1 out. And first thing you want to know about Manny, he has 20 grand slams. He has 20 grand back in 05 in Texas. Was back John Roush is 6 feet 11, 275 pounds out of Louisville, Kentucky. Went to school at Morgan State. 6 feet 11. 6 feet 11. So we saw Randy Johnson, who's 6'9". We saw Chris Young, who is 6'10". And now here's Big John facing Manny with the bases loaded. Ramirez 2 for 3 with a home run against him. High fly ball into deep right center field. Young will make the catch on the track. Scoring easily from third is Blake. Taking third on the long fly ball is for Call. And the Dodgers lead 4-1. And Manny came close. Gave the crowd a thrill. So Roush gives up the long fly ball to Manny, his second RBI. 4 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers, 1 run, 3 hits for the D-backs. With 2 out, first and third, the batter is Andre Ethier. Ethier 0 for 4 in the past against Roush. Fastball strike, 0-1. So Rafael for call at third. So Rafael, Orlando Hudson at first. Orlando Hudson at first. 1-1. Interesting for Doug Davis, the left-hander. He made 93 pitches, but more incisive. Is if you look inside, the control specialist, which he normally is, the control specialist with 3 ball counts and 4 1/3 inning. 3 ball counts and 4 1/3 inning. 1-1. And ball 2, 2-1. And ball 2, 2-1. But John Roush, he was first team All-State academic honor. He was first team for one reason. He loved to play baseball for one reason. His parents said you can't play baseball unless you come up with good grades. So unless you come up with good end of the bargain. So he kept playing the game he loved to the bargain. All 3, 3-1 he loved. All 3, 3-1. Roush said when he wasn't drafted out of high school and he never thought he'd be a pro baseball player. He never planned to be a double major in physics and business manager, and pursue a career in automotive engineering and pursue a career in automotive engineering and design. And ball 4. And ball 4. So now the base is loaded again, and then now the base is loaded again, and this time it's being James Loney. So the Dodgers trying to break the game apart. The Dodgers trying to break the game apart. And here's Loney. James grounded to short and struck out. He's 0 for 2. And Loney 1 for 5 in the past against Roush. You remember James had a grand slam home run against the Cubs in the division series, and he had one a couple of years ago in Colorado against Byung-Hyun Kim. 0-1 to count to James. The Colossus of Rhodes. That's what John Roush must look like standing on a 10-inch mound. 0-2 the count to Loney. You have Rafael for call at third, Orlando Hudson at second, Andre Ethier at first. Dodgers have scored twice and lead 4-1, scoring fly balls by Eric Stultz and Manny Ramirez. Now back. Runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. 1 run, 3 hits, 1 error for the D-backs. Dodgers trying to go perfect for the 11th time at home. That would tie the Kansas City Royals of 2003 that won 11 in a row. But for Torrey, he can tell his club all about these great beginnings, and every team we've talked about, they all lost. None of them won a pennant. Breaking ball takes care of James. Big, slow curveball. So for the Dodgers, they pick up 2, and at the end of 5, lead 4-1. O'clock game, and we had 52,000 here. When the Dodgers played in Brooklyn, all the games Sunday started at 2 o'clock for very good reason. They didn't allow Sunday baseball back east until 1919 with the provision that a Sunday game could not start before 2 and had to end by 6. They had a vote. Was it a close vote? You bet it was. 26-20. But we play on Sunday, and let's go back to this one. Dodgers rolling along, leading 4-1. That'll be a strike to Chris Young, who has struck out and fouled out. 0 for 2. A lot of times they'll talk about a professional player about how much he is in the zone, where just everything seems to go his way, where his concentration is so great he blacks out everything else. For the Dodgers right now anyway, the team is in a zone. 1-2. However you have to qualify it, they're in a zone at home. So far this is a break-even team on the road, 8-8. But at home, look out. 1-2 to Chris Young. And of course, for 100 years they always said the secret to winning: play 500 on the road and do well at home. And the Dodgers are certainly following that recipe. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-2. Four runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 1 run, 3 hits for the D-backs. Down goes Young for a second time. The D-backs remind me of the Milwaukee club a few years ago when they had Richie Sexton and a bunch of other guys. I mean, they stirred the flags in the ballpark. They struck out so much. And the D-backs are that kind of a ball club, at least in the early going. They've only played 25 games. This is game number 26. Look at Kirk Gibson. Does he look happy? Strike. Connor Jackson double, grounded to third, 1 for 2. One and one. Connor, a Valley boy. Little roller over the mound. Here comes Raphael. Got a nice pop. 2 down. 2 out, 6th inning. The last hit by Arizona was Josh Wilson's single back in the 2nd inning when they scored a run. They haven't really been heard from since. And the batter is Mark Reynolds. Grounded out to Blake on a nice play. Made out again in the 3rd. 0 for 2. Hitting .261. Strike. Oh and 1. High fly ball to deep left center field, and that's typical Reynolds. He's got some power and drives it out to make it Dodgers 4, D-backs 2. So for Reynolds, his 7th home run and his 14th run batted in. And here we are in the 6th inning, and Honeycutt gets on the phone. So Mark Reynolds, who can hit him out of any ballpark, hits one with 2 out. And the Dodger lead is 4-2. Reynolds is always a threat to hit one. He had 28 last year. 17 the year before. It is almost as if pitchers go 5 innings and that's it. Like quarter horses, they're not trained to go like a quarter horse for a quarter of a mile. But as each game goes by, you realize if you get a pitcher to go more than 5 innings, he's turned in a tremendous job. So Stultz here in the 6th inning has gotten 2 out. Ronald Belisario is backing him up. And the batter is Justin Upton, who's the hottest hitter on the D-back squad. He has walked twice. He's hitting .371 during that 10-game streak. And Upton has some sock. He has 4 home runs. Foul back. And after Upton, Eric Burns. So in the old days, starting pitchers finished games. That is rare indeed today. And then, of course, when you talk about young players and you learn that they were closers in high school, they were setup men in high school, you know this game has really changed. And when you think about it, you would think there'd be more complete games, because in the old days, you'd have a 4-man staff. Guys were pitching 300 innings. Now, if they go 190, they're Iron Men. Hiroki Kuroda, Clayton Kershaw sitting shoulder to shoulder. 2-2 the count to Justin Upton. No word on Kuroda. Not yet. Boy, when you hear that dreaded word oblique, when they talk about an injury, which to you and me means pull something in your side, that's a short word for a long out. Ball 3. So Stoltz going 3-2. He has walked Upton twice and he has hit a batter, Lopez. Fastball hit into right field, base hit. So now Eric Burns coming up, and he would represent the tying run. And for Upton, he has now hit safely in 11 straight. Torre is hollering, Russ, go talk. And so Martin is going to go out to the mound. And Eric Burns will be the batter. Burns, he hit into a force play and drove one to deep right center. A great running catch by Matt Kemp to take an extra base hit away from him. The Honeycutt checking on the condition of Belisario. And let's see whether they're going to go out and get him or not. Torre turns and now comes up the steps, so that'll do it. So Eric Stoltz joins an awful lot of pitchers who can't make it for 6 innings. He goes 5 2/3. Can't lose. He did go the required 5. With a 2-run lead, he has only 1 run of his responsibility. Eric made 89 pitches, and Ronald Belisario will come in. That home run, by the way, by Reynolds was the first home run that Stoltz has allowed this year. We'll be back. Eric Stoltz gives up 2 runs and 5 hits, walked 2, hit a batter, struck out 3, make it 4. And after 5 2/3, gives the ball to Ronald Belisario, and Belisario facing Eric Burns. And a strike, 0-1. Burns hitting 159, and Belisario has never faced him, and vice versa. 17 strikeouts and 7 walks, so he's done well. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dodgers led 2-0, 2-1, 4-1, and now 4-2. 3 home runs in the game. Ramirez, Ethier, and now Reynolds. Fastball, and he pulled it foul. Down to Chip Hale. 1-2 the count. The D-backs have not been hitting at all. They came in here with a team batting average lowest in the majors, 229, and against left-handers they were hitting 198, and they were 3-7 against left-hand starters. 1-2. Upton 1 for 1 in stolen bases, but he hadn't tried it. One and 2. 2-2 to Eric Burns. Ground ball down to Casey Blake, short way to Hudson, and that's it. 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left at the end of 5 1/2, 4-2 Dodgers. First inning, 3-2 count on Manny Ramirez and Doug Davis, the pitcher. Fastball and collision as Manny hits it into the left center field bleachers. A line drive home run for Ramirez, his 6th. Gave him 16 runs batted in. Then later on in the 5th inning, he came up with the bases loaded and had a scoring fly ball to deep right center. So he's driven in 2 of the 4. And the Dodgers go into the bottom of the 6th, leading 4-2. Russell Martin, Matt Kemp, Casey Blake against John Roush. Ball 1. Martin walked and was nailed at second as the triple play took place in the 2nd inning, and he struck out in the 4th. John Roush, originally drafted 10 years ago by the Chicago White Sox. Line drive, base hit to left field. So Martin a single. Dodgers now 4 runs on 6 hits.
Center fielder.
And the batter, Matt Kemp. Kent reached on the error in the 2nd inning and then became the 3rd out of the triple play. Last time up, he singled a left and eventually came around to score. Right. Oh, and 1. Matt got a little on the foot. No balls and 2 strikes. Four runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 5 hits for the D-backs. And we're in the bottom of the 6th. 1 and 2. Dodgers trying to pin a defeat on Doug Davis, which would then make the Dodger record 6-1 against left-hand starters and 4-0 at home. Two and 2 the count. Looking at John Roush, you see that tattoo on the right side of his neck. He's got a lot of tattoos on his body. For instance, he has Olympic rings on his left ankle. There goes Martin, and it's a foul ball at the plate. The Olympic rings because he was part of the gold medal team in Sydney. He struck out 21 in 11 innings in those games. He has Roman numerals starting at his neck and going all the way down his spine. The Roman numerals commemorate his wedding day, September 7th, 2001. Chinese symbols, homage to himself. They mean tall fire. Well, then the Roushes had a little girl, Aubrey Elizabeth. So he decided to have her footprints and her name and birthday on his right calf. What he did, he took a piece of paper with the footprints from the hospital to the fellow who does the tattooing. Another foul ball. Did a stencil off the paper. Voila. The right side of his neck, and you see that whenever we take a close-up of him, the right side is an olive wreath put around his wedding band. And then he had a second daughter, so he got more footprints on his lower right leg. There's the wedding ring and the olive branch. No olive branch there. 3 and 2 to Matt Kemp. John says, if I have a boy, I've got room on the inside of my leg as well. So to each his own. John Roush. 4-2 Dodgers. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. Russell Martin at first. 3 and 2. There he goes. And a high foul ball off first down the line. Well back into the crowd. So Martin back to first. Casey Blake on deck, and Kemp up there 3 and 2. 3 and 2. Remember, we told you Doug Davis in 4 1/3 innings had 8 3 and 2 counts. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 5 hits for the D-backs. Down in the Dodger bullpen, they're thinking about hitting for Belisario, and Guillermo Mota gets up. Martin figures to be going. If a fellow like Chris Young has trouble with stolen bases because it takes so long to unravel, John Roush certainly has to have that problem as well. 3-2. Martin goes, and a drive into left center to the gap, and that ball is going to be off the wall. They will wave Martin in. The relay to the plate not nearly in time. Dodgers lead 5-2 on a long double by Matt Kemp. So Matt is 2 for 3, picks up the run batted in. That thing was stung. It hit the wall on the fly. Burns got it back in as quickly as possible to Josh Wilson. So 5-2 Dodgers with a runner at second, nobody out, and Casey Blake. Esmerling Vasquez down in the bullpen, getting ready for Arizona, and Bob Melvin going out to talk to the plate umpire. That usually means a double switch. And let's see, the last out was made by Eric Burns, so Burns is going to come out. Tony Clark is also going to take over at first base, and we'll have a new left fielder as Burns is walking off the field, as well as the new pitcher. Connor Jackson is going to go from first base to left field, and Vasquez coming in, and we'll be back. Here's the Dodgers pulling off a triple play with Martin and Kemp aboard. Casey Blake, a line drive backhanded by Josh Wilson, throws to second to double up Kemp, throws to first for the third out, and that was that. So a triple play started by Josh Wilson, who came up from the minors to fill in for Stephen Drew, and the Dodgers meanwhile starting to punish the D-backs a little, leading 5-2. Casey Blake will face Esmerling Vasquez. He's from the Dominican Republic, signed as a free agent by the D-backs 6 years ago in the minor leagues until this year. Casey Blake hit into the triple play and single to left. No play on Kemp. book on Vasquez. Fastball, kind of a slurvy curveball, half slider, half curve, and a changeup. 2 years ago, he injured his right shoulder diving for a bunt. And that shoulder's bothered him all through last year. That's ball one. MRI revealed that he suffered a tear of the labrum. He had 6 weeks of rest, then a strengthening program in January of '08. Then he spent 4 weeks on the DL rehabbing last year. Then he went to Tucson, and now here he is with the D-backs in the big leagues. 1 ball, no strikes. Ball 2. So it's been Doug Davis, John Roush, and now Esmerling Vasquez. Nobody out. Martin singled. Kemp doubled him in, and it's 5-2 Dodgers. 2-0. And ball 3 on deck. Mark Loretta would bat for Ronald Belisario. Three balls, no strikes. Down the pipe, 3-1. Davis, Roush, and Vasquez, Stultz, Belisario, and from the looks of things, Mota. 3-1. Fouled away. 3-2 to the pride of Indianola, Iowa. Casey trying to pick up Matt. And going to third is Camp. The throw, he has stolen it. The Matt Kemp steals third as Blake strikes out. Matt got a good jump, and he's in there head first. So Blake strikes out. That's one away. And now Mark Loretta coming up. And Loretta batting for Belisario. And Loretta, if you've been following the Dodgers at all, is certainly part of the story. 7 for 11 as a pinch hitter with 2 runs batted in. And the infield has to play up. Loretta overall hitting .391. And ball 1. Vasquez, in looking at his work, it's only his 4th game. ERA of 4.5. 1 ball, no strikes to Mark Loretta. 5-2 Dodgers. 6th inning. Good pitch. 1-1. That's that slurvy breaking ball he throws. So Roush came in, gave up a scoring fly ball to Ramirez in the 5th inning. Then gave up a single on a double. Handed the ball to Vasquez, who struck out Blake. 1-1 to Loretta. Fastball pulled, foul ball. So Kemp back to third, Loretta back to the plate, and the count remains 1-2. Nice try by Mark Reynolds. Tomorrow night, Max Scherzer and Jeff Weaver on KCAL 9. Hope you make your plans to be with us if you possibly can. 7:10 game. 1-2 to Loretta. Breaking ball fooled him, and he knows it, and he strikes out. So the big sweeping breaking ball gets Loretta 2 down. For call coming up. You know, we have Friday night fireworks all season long. Friday night, we'll have the music of 1959 honoring the Dodgers' first championship in Los Angeles. Compliments of Dreyer's Grand Ice Cream. And for tickets, call 866-DODGERS or visit Dodgers.com. For call, grounded to third, single to left, and walk. Ground ball to short. Wilson almost and does pull his first baseman off the bag. The throw cannot be handled by Tony Clark. For call is safe. Kemp comes home, and it is 6-2 Dodgers. For Bob Melvin, a very tough time. It reminds you of Bud Black. Wilson very skitterish at short, very much in a hurry. And for call, safely aboard as Clark came off the bag trying to handle a poor throw, and I assume the error will be charged to Josh Wilson. It should have been a routine play, but he was just in so much hurry. So the inning continues. The Dodgers get another break. Wilson charged with his second error. Oh, wait a minute. They're going to give Tony Clark the error. Oh, okay. Tony just got in the game, and he's got to go down the right field line to handle one, and couldn't handle it. Oh, okay. Tony Clark is big enough to handle the error at 6'7". I remember Red Barber used the word skitterish, and that's Josh Wilson at shortstop. And what the solid major league ball player does, he is able to slow the game down. And the more you talk to them, that's all you hear. Slow the game down. Well, Josh Wilson, so far on every ground ball, has been in a hurry. The only time he wasn't in a hurry is when he backhanded that line drive and turned it into a triple play. 0-1 to count. 6-2 Dodgers in the 6th inning. Hudson 0 for 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Hudson hitting .333 and about .470 at home. And a high fly ball. It's playable. Chris Young is there. And that'll be that, but it's a deuce. Dodgers 2 in the first, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, lead the D-backs 6-2. in the second, and Reynolds a home run in the sixth. The starting pitchers are gone. Eric Stultz could pick up a victory. It would be his third of the year. He went 5 2/3, made 89 pitches. Doug Davis could be the loser. He made 93 pitches, going only 4 1/3. The Dodgers now dip into the pen for their third pitcher. It's been Stultz, Belisario, and now Guillermo Mota. Mota getting ready to pitch to Chris Snyder, then Josh Wilson, and we will see about Vasquez. Guillermo Mota 2-0. ERA is pretty high, over almost 7. 8 innings. He's allowed 6 earned runs. That's a strike to Chris Snyder. 6-7-0 for the Dodgers. 2-5-2 for the D-backs. That's inside corner, strike 2. No balls, 2 strikes. Poke foul off to the right, out of play. Hard slider. No way you could have pulled that, and Snyder just went with it, fouled it off to the right. No balls, 2 strikes. And ball 1. Chris Snyder last year had 16 home runs. His previous high had been 13, and 64 runs batted in. 2-2. Chris, 28 years old, out of Houston, lives in Houston, went to the University of Houston. 2-2. Fouled away. Mota throwing hard. He had 95 on the gun, and that slider he threw on the previous pitch was in the high 80s. Dodger pitching at home has been like the team. Superb. Still 2-2. So after 95 fastball, he just came back with a changeup in on the hands. Still 2-2. The starters for the Dodgers at home have an earned run average of 2.5. On the road, however, it's over 5. Ball 3. Dodgers 6, D-backs 2 in a game that featured a triple play in the second inning. The triple play turned in by the D-backs. Whoa, was that whack, but down the line foul. And that was another 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Boy, just imagine you can pull a 95er that hard down the line. 3-2 to Chris. And that's popped up. Orlando. So 195-mile-an-hour fastball he pulled down the line. Next one he pops up to the second baseman. 1 away in the 7th inning.
Shortstop, Josh Wilson.
Josh Wilson. Single to left, fly to center, committed an error, and started a triple play. Boy from Pittsburgh in Mount Lebanon. Of course, there's another Wilson in Pittsburgh, but he's been banged up with a bad finger. Jack Wilson. 1 ball and no strikes. Stoltz 5 2/3, Belisario, and now Mota. And there's a drive to left. Manny going back, and this one is going to be off the wall. And Wilson goes hustling into second with a stand-up double, and he's 2 for 3. You know, friends, you can sit in Mannywood tomorrow night in honor of the Dodgers Cinco de Mayo celebration. Fans will receive a commemorative T-shirt, Yo estuve en Mannywood, which means I understand I was in Mannywood. Tickets $99, include 2 field box seats, 2 free T-shirts. So visit Dodgers.com/Mannywood or call 866-Dodgers. Yo estuve en Mannywood. See. Honeycutt talking to Mota. 1 out, 7th inning. Dodgers 6, D-backs 2. Long double for Wilson. Corey Wade is up in the Dodger bullpen, and Mota trying to do it himself. Wade did not play or pitch last night. Made 17 pitches the night before. Ramon Troncoso made 23 pitches last night, and they do not want to use him. They used Troncoso back to back. Here's big Tony Clark. Clark in that 3-way move, finishing up the game at first base. Connor Jackson is in the outfield. 1-1 the count. Just thinking, if the D-backs arrive at an airport and the first guy getting off is John Roush and the second guy is Tony Clark, you have to figure it's a basketball team. Tony's 6'7". Tony Clark has had something like 248 home runs as a switch hitter. You think that's good, 248. And then you check and you see Mickey Mantle had 536. 3-1 to Tony Clark. Josh Wilson at second, 1 out, 7th inning, 6-2 Dodgers. Fouled away, 3-2. I always remember asking Jim Gilliam years ago, what's the biggest problem about being a switch hitter? And Jim's answer was a little interesting. He said, not getting hit by the pitch. Three and two to Tony. Breeze blowing from right to left. Fouled away. So the D-backs have 6 hits, and it is so typical of them so far this year. They have 6 hits, and 3 of the 6 hits extra bases. Connor Jackson a double, Josh Wilson a double, and Mark Reynolds a home run. Over 40% of their hits are extra base hits, and a lot of strikeouts. Strikeout number 1 for Mota, and the batter will be Felipe Lopez. Fly to left, hit by a pitch, fly to right. Has a little 4-game streak, trying to pick up Josh Wilson. Lopez doing well, hitting .320. Felipe is from Bayamon in Puerto Rico, but he lives in Florida. And now Joe Torre going out to the mound. And will the Dodgers dip into the bullpen again? Looks that way. Remember, Joe said before the game today he is not concerned about using the bullpen. So Stoltz, Belisario, Mota, and they go to the pen again for Corey Wade, and we'll be back. see it as Corey Wade begins to loosen up. But just look at Ronald Belisario, who came in briefly to get an out in the 6th inning. This is the 4th of May and the Dodgers' 27th game. And Belisario has already been in 13 of the 27. On this date, way back in 1974, it was the 26th Dodger game. Mike Marshall appeared in 17 of the 26. And if you remember, or at least might have read about it, Mike Marshall appeared in 106 games that year. Dodgers won the pennant, went on to lose. 1 ball and no strikes to Felipe Lopez. So it's Stoltz, Belisario, Mota, and Wade. Corey, as we said, 17 pitches the other night when he worked the 8th inning. That's pop foul. Blake coming over. No play. So Lopez, originally signed by the Toronto Blue Jays about 11 years ago, came up with the Jays, then came over to the National League in '03 with the Reds. Then the last 4 years, 3 with Nationals and 1 with the Cardinals. And of course, Washington will be here Wednesday and Thursday nights. One ball and 1 strike. 1-2. Corey Wade in his 7th game with a good ERA of 2.7. Check swing. You know, it's interesting, we were talking before about the Dodger starters at home have an earned run average of 2.5. But of course, none of the starters hang around very long. No knock exactly, but that's just the truth. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Game 1 with the Padres, McDonald started, 4 other pitchers. Game 2, Kershaw started, 3 other pitchers. And down goes Lopez. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left. And at the end of 6.5, Dodgers leading 6-2. And let us all be reminded, God bless America.
Reynolds.
6-2 in favor of the Dodgers as we go to the bottom of the seventh. Manny Ramirez followed by Andre Ethier and then James Loney as the Dodgers move along, leading 6-2 in the seventh. Vasquez bouncing that one. Manny tonight homered in the first inning. Came up with 2 on and 1 out in the third and hit into a double play. Came up with the bases loaded in the fifth. Hit one to deepest right center, caught by Chris Young to drive in a run. So Manny tonight is 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs. Two and 0. Manny hitting .500 against Arizona. Oh, 3-0 the count, and Andre Ethier on deck. We'll see if Vasquez even tries to throw him a strike. 3-0. Look out. Hit him right in the small of the back. So the first pitch was outside the left-hand hitter's box. So you know he's trying to get something extra. And he finally hits him, and Manny goes to first with a big grin. And it got him just below the belt. Manny looks, doesn't know which way to go, and it nails him right there. And when he got to first, he had a big grin. So Vasquez opens up with a hit. Batter now Andre Ethier. Ramirez hit by the pitch for the first time. Oh, by the way, could we have a shot of Bob Melvin just for a minute? When Bob Melvin was a catcher in the big leagues, he went over 1,900 plate appearances without being hit by a pitch. And he wanted to go 2,000 and never quite made it. But it's interesting what happened. Here's the strike one pitch. Shot up the middle, base hit. Manny will stop at second. There was Bob Melvin sailing along over 1,900 plate appearances without being hit by a pitch. And he's getting batting practice by his manager. And he's hit by a pitch in batting practice. And then the game starts. He got nailed. And as he said, I was hoping like Lou Gehrig to go 2,000, but he never made it. First and second, nobody out here in the seventh inning, and James Loney grounded to short, struck out twice, 0 for 3. Dodger lineup. Orlando Hudson is without a hit, and James along with the pitcher spot. That's it. Check swing. It's going to cost him a strike. It was a bum check. Dodgers 6 runs, 8 hits. D-backs 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors. Tomorrow night, Max Scherzer and Jeff Weaver. Hard foul ball. Interesting, and will be interesting to see Max Scherzer. A lot of people say that Scherzer has a great arm. He's well put together, 6'3", 215. He's out of the Show Me State of Missouri. In fact, he went to the University of Missouri. Be good to see him pitch tomorrow night. Right-handed all the way. Max Scherzer. All of 24. Ball one. Dodgers with 2 on, nobody out, leading 6-2 in the 7th. Davis, Rausch, and Vasquez. Boy, what a follow through by Vasquez on that pitch. He really lost his rhythm. 2-2 the count. He's fighting it out there. Wild with Ramirez, and then hit him, and then the single by Ethier. Two balls and 2 strikes. Slap foul off third, back into the seats. Hope you'll be out here with us tomorrow night. Beautiful evenings. It was 68 degrees when the game started tonight. No wind, not even a zephyr. They were very comfortable in the stand. And the Dodgers trying to make it 11 in a row at Dodger Stadium. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fastball hit the center. Young, a little bit of a late start, but he's so quick he goes back to get it. And Manny tags up and goes to third. So Manny alertly tagging up. And the Dodgers have runners at first and third with 1 out. And Russell Martin trying to pick up Ramirez. Chris Snyder reminding the infield, knock the ball down. 1 out. Martin walked, struck out, singled. He was nailed at second base right in the middle of the triple play back in the 2nd inning. First and third, 1 away. Russell hitting .230. Check swing, but it's going to cost. 0-1. Martin with 4 hits in his last 2 games. 3 Saturday, didn't play Sunday. And he has a single and a walk tonight. On deck, Matt Kemp. Big sweeping breaking ball. That's that slider. And they call it kind of a slurvy breaking ball. It doesn't have a tight break like a Snyder. Big sweeper. So Manny's at third. Ethier at first. 1 out. 6-2 Dodgers, bottom of the 7th. 1-1. And that's a strike. 1-2. That looked a lot more like a slider than the other one. Clayton Kershaw on the mound Wednesday night against the Washington Nationals. And Jeff Weaver against Max Scherzer tomorrow night. 1-2. Fastball, 2-2. Dodgers trying to make it 10 out of 12 and 6 straight against Arizona. Of course, Arizona is hurting without Brandon Webb. That's a big blow. 2-2. And the slider again, ball 3. So with a full count and one down, Mariano Duncan talking to Andre Ethier. Matt Kemp waiting on deck. 3-2 the count. Ethier's not going. In fact, he was going back to the bag. Ethier's gone. And line foul into the chairs down the left field line. So Andre back to first. Manny holding at third. One out. 7th inning, 6-2 Dodgers. And Martin needs another bat. When the Diamondbacks come up in the 8th inning, they will have Chris Young, Connor Jackson, and Mark Reynolds. Ethier goes, and it's lifted foul off to the right. I don't believe a play. Nope. Oh yeah, 5s all around. So we'll try it again. 3-2. Manny's at third. Ethier's been going on each of the last 2 pitches. Martin foul, 1 to the left, 1 to the right. Ethier goes again on ball 4. So Ramirez holding at third. Ethier is at second. Martin is at first. And Matt Kemp will be coming up. With everything else, the Dodgers have received 5 walks and a hit batter. So with the bases loaded, Matt Kemp reached on an error, single to left, double to left. And Matt up there with the bases loaded. He had a grand slam against the Rockies and then hit his second against the Rockies here. Right. 0-1. Dodgers have been retired in order once tonight. That was back in the 4th inning of distant memory. Ground ball to Wilson. The shovel for 1. They turn it for 2, and that's it. So no runs a hit. 2 left, and at the end of 7th, Dodgers 6, D-backs 2. to left, and Andre Ethier to right. And the low came quickly after. Second inning, line drive to short for 1. Throw to second for 2. Throw to first for 3. Triple play. Boom, said Doug Davis, who was to survive, however, for only 4 1/3 innings. So the Dodgers lead 6-2. We have reached the 8th inning. And it will be Chris Young, Connor Jackson, Mark Reynolds, and then if they get to him, Justin Upton. And for Corey Wade, his second inning, he made 5 pitches in the 7th. But again, it's interesting. We were talking about the Dodgers starting pitching at home is 2.5, but you really wouldn't know it just by looking at box scores. McDonald was followed by 4. Kershaw was followed by 3. Wolf was followed by 3. Billingsley, the ace, was followed by 2, and Stoltz has been followed by 3. So they go out there, they pitch well for a while, and then the bullpen invariably is summoned, and the pen has done very, very well. So 6-2 Dodgers 8th inning. Chris Young has struck out a couple of times and fouled out, and lifts one in the air down the left field line. Coming over is Manny, puts it away. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and Corey Wade will now face Connor Jackson. Jackson had a 2-out double in the first inning, grounded to third, grounded to short, so he is 1 for 3. Connor started the game at first base and is finishing up in left field. Jackson followed by Reynolds. Ball 1. And ball 2. Six-two Dodgers 8th inning, 1 out, and line drive right at Orlando. Two down, and the batter Mark Reynolds grounded to third, grounded out again, and then hit a home run. Paid attendance tonight, 30,530. Off speed for a strike. Tomorrow night, Max Scherzer and Jeff Weaver. 0-1. Squirted, a little English on that one, right out of the pool hall, and that's the inning. So the D-backs go very quietly against Corey Wade, and at the end of 7 1/2, 6-2 Dodgers. Dodgers leading Arizona 6-2. Bottom of the 8th inning. Leo Rosales comes out of the Arizona bullpen, and he will pick up. It's been Davis, Rausch, Vasquez, and now Rosales. And for the Dodgers, they're going to make another move because they will have Casey Blake to lead it off, followed by Juan Pierre to bat for Corey Wade. And down in the bullpen, Jonathan Broxton is loosening up. Broxton has not pitched since the Kershaw-Peavy game, though he's a little rusty. 0-1 to Casey Blake. Casey Blake, how'd it go? Well, let's see. My first time up, I lined into a triple play. Oh, great. Since then, he has singled and struck out. 1 for 3. Leo Rosales was born here in Los Angeles. Local boy who went to Cal State Northridge. He was a workhorse, they said, at Cal State Northridge, and originally signed with the Padres. Never made it to San Diego, but he did finally make it last year to Arizona. 6'1", 185. He'll be 28 at the end of May. Last year, he made his major league debut on Father's Day, a day after waking his father and mother with the news that he'd been promoted from Tucson to Arizona. 3-2. Leo went to Reseda High in the Valley by way of East Los Angeles. So Casey Blake draws the walk here in the bottom of the 8th inning. That'll bring up Juan Pierre hitting for Corey Wade.
Your attention, please. Pitch hitting for the Dodgers.
Dodgers used Mark Loretta in the 6th inning. Mark struck out, so now they'll look at Pierre. Juan hitting .393 with 3 RBIs, and as a pinch hitter, he is 2 for 9. Fouled away. When the D-backs come up in the 9th, they'll have Upton, a hitter, pinch hitter, and then Snyder. Rosales with a very good change, fastball, curveball. The bunt foul back, 0-2. For Rosales, he pays the price of a short temper. It occurred 2 years ago in '07. He was with the Portland Beavers, blew a save, went into the bathroom and punched the wall, broke his pitching hand, and surgery required. And they finally had to put a titanium plate and 6 screws inserted in the hand. 1-2. As Leo says, I was angry and I did something stupid. It cost me 5 months. One of those things never happen again. 1-2 to Juan Pierre. Two and two. Leo, as a student here in L.A., spent a lot of time on the buses. 70 minutes to school and as much as 2 hours to get home after baseball practice. But it worked. Here he is. Leo Rosales. 2-2 to Pierre. And lifted to left center. Chris Young is right there. 1 away. You know, you can get Dodger discounts on your mobile phone all season long. Texting Dodgers ticks to 65246 throughout the year. You'll receive special offers to watch the Dodgers defend their division title, and you can customize your mobile alerts, including news, game summaries, scores, and more at Dodgers.com/mobile. 1 out, 8th inning, and here is Rafael. Grounded to third, single to left, walk, reached on an error. 1 ball and no strikes. So Rafael has been on base 3 times tonight, and he has reached, one way or another, 25. This is the 27th game, and he's missed 2. Ball 2. 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Dodgers led 2-0, 2-1, 4-1, 4-2, and 6-2. 2-0. Right, 2-1. Rafael hitting .269 left-handed, and he came in hitting .211 right-handed against Doug Davis. Two balls, 1 strike. In the dirt, nice block by Snyder. It's been Davis, Rausch, Vasquez, and Rosales. Doug Davis, who made 93 pitches in 4 1/3 innings, struggled with his control. He had 8 3-ball counts and gave up 4 runs and could be the losing pitcher. Three and 1. And a fly ball to right field. Upton is there. So 2 down after the walk to Blake. And Orlando Hudson coming up against his old mates. Orlando grounded to second, walked twice, and flied to center. We were talking about Doug Davis having 8 3-ball counts. He has had a lot of company. There have been combined 23 3-ball counts. 2 of them became rather eventful. Manny hit a home run on a 3-2 pitch. And Casey Blake hit into the triple play on a 3-2 count with the runners going. I would think, without being able to check it, most of triple plays result on a 3-2 count with the runners going. All right, Blake at first, 2 out. And a strike to Hudson. Orlando a couple of walks, 0 for 2. To repeat, the D-backs will have Upton to lead it off. On deck, Manny Ramirez. One and 1. It would be interesting to see, if we watch the grandstands, if Hudson makes the last out, chances are Manny will not have a bat again tonight. How many people will get up and go home? Or if Hudson keeps the inning alive and Manny has the at bat, how many people will go home? 2 and 1. Over the years, watching superstars, the big hitters, it's always the same. People are always conscious of how many outs and who's up ahead of the big star. And Manny hasn't disappointed. home run and a long scoring fly ball. 2-2 to Orlando Hudson. Interesting, when we were in San Francisco, all we heard and read quotes from Barry Bonds about how the Giants should have signed Manny Ramirez. Boy, Bonds just kept saying it all the time. Should have signed him. Need him. Should have signed him. Giants will be here on the weekend. Foul back. 30,530. Quite a few have already headed for home. Monday Night Blues work tomorrow. 2-2 to Orlando Hudson. And fouled away again. Orlando, a tough out from either side of the plate, hitting .350 right, .333 left. Three home runs, one right, two left. 2-2. Foul back. Dodgers tonight leading 6-2. They did have two scoring fly balls, but otherwise, for the Dodgers, tonight's a different story. 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Still 2-2. Ground ball into right field. We're going to see Manny. So the Dodgers have runners at first and third as Hudson continues and now wakes up the club and the ballpark right away. Manny homered in the first inning. 3-2 pitch. He lined it into the left center field bleachers. Grounded into a double play in the third. Hit a long fly ball to the track and right center with the bases loaded for an RBI. And was hit in the seventh inning by a pitch. Strike. That's that great changeup that Rosales has. Dodgers 6, Arizona 2, 2 out, runners at first and third. In the dirt, nice save. Chris Snyder blocking it. So Blake holds at third. Hudson at first. Broxton getting ready in the Dodger bullpen, and he's had plenty of time to do so. 1-1. Ball 2. Two balls, one strike. And ball 3. On deck, Andre Ethier. 3-1, and of course you gotta believe that Manny's on his own. Among other things, he has walked 24 times and promptly lines one. He's at it again as he hits one in the corner. They will just score once. They will stop Orlando at third. So Manny has a walk, hit by a pitch actually, home run, scoring fly ball, and now a routine double. What did he say when he had the 3 doubles in San Francisco? I'm a double maniac. Well, so he has 3 RBIs tonight. The Dodgers lead 7-2. They have runners at second and third. Manny talking to the second baseman Felipe Lopez. So Andre Ethier, with first base open, has homered, flied to left, walked, and singled. Dodgers breezing again. Boy, it is remarkable. Orlando down the line from third, Manny at second. That's in there. 1 ball and 1 strike. Down in the Dodger bullpen now with a 5-run spread. Jonathan Broxton has company. Brent Leach, the left-hander who took Scott Elbert's place, is down in the pen, and he might be coming in. 2-1. The only reason you'd bring Broxton in would be to keep him sharp. Broxton is barely throwing now. Broxton pitched the 9th inning of the Clayton Kershaw game, the 1-0 victory over San Diego. Ground ball to first, knocked down by Clark, feeds his man coming over, and that's it. So Manny doubles in 1, has a big night to drive in 3 all told. We are heading for the 9th, and the people are leaving. 7-2 Dodgers. It will be Justin Upton, followed by Ryan Roberts to hit for Rosales, and then Chris Snyder, the catcher. And on the mound for the Dodgers, to give him a little work and keep him sharp, is the big boy Jonathan Broxton. He made 20 pitches in pitching the 9th inning of the Dodgers 1-0 victory against San Diego. So Broxton getting ready to face Upton, who has walked twice, single to right. So the young right fielder with his base hit has kept his hitting streak alive. He has hit in 11 straight. And of course the Dodgers are 3 outs away from winning their 11th straight at home. Ball one. Upton is 1 for 6 against Broxton, having struck out 3 of the 6 at bats. Strike. And John hits 95. 1 ball and 1 strike. In San Francisco, both Jonathan Broxton and Brian Wilson, the Giant reliever, each hit 100 on the Giants' gun. How accurate that is, I have no idea. 2-1 to count to Justin Upton. But as Tony Gwynn said, it's great theater. The gun gets people oohing and eyeing. And ball 3. Broxton's numbers are always interesting. His earned run average is 0.7. He has struck out 21 and walked 4. A little better than 5-1. Oh, Upton up there now 3-2. Tomorrow night, Max Scherzer and Jeff Weaver. This is a very brief 2-game series with Arizona. Then the Washington Nationals with Ryan Zimmerman and company. They're in for 2. And then the Giants for the weekend. And line foul down the right field line. There were 30,530. Then that cut down a bit, and then a lot of people left after Manny had his double. Ah, yes, Dad's getting some sugar. Who cares about the time? 3-2. And strike 3 called on a slider. So Upton goes to school. Broxton goes all the way. You're looking fastball, and you get that hard slider. 1 away. Now Ryan Roberts coming up. Ryan Roberts, who was at AAA last year. By the way, we were talking about the Washington Nationals coming in here. Their best player, of course, is Ryan Zimmerman. Well, Zimmerman extended his hitting streak tonight. He has hit safely in 22 straight. Oh, 0-1 the count to Ryan Roberts. 1-1. Roberts out of Fort Worth, Texas, went to the University of Texas in Arlington. Big man on campus with their baseball team. Let's get a bunch of school records. That's a strike. 1-2 to Ryan Roberts. Roberts has a lot of tattoos, although he's pretty well bundled up. You can't see any. But on his left arm, above his initials, a double R, are the words, "Only the strong survive." So Broxton comes in, strikes out Upton, strikes out Roberts. And Miguel Montero will now come up and bat for Snyder. I mean, how good is that for Jonathan Broxton? 4 walks and 23 strikeouts. You keep sending left-hand hitters up there hoping to get lucky like Montero. How are lefties doing against Broxton? They are 0 for 20 with 12 strikeouts and 1 walk.